NFL record for the worst completion percentage. This is a game you need to win. This is a divisional matchup against a team you should beat. This is how you stack up wins. Hello and welcome back to i75Live. We are on episode 34. As we talked about last week, we had a lot of our favorite March Madness games that we are going to go through and talk about.
Good. This is probably the best week of March Madness.
And that's kind of what we were hoping for.
Yep.
Also, the MLB season has started. We're not going to mention my team. It's been...
Oh, you mean the 0-5 Braves?
Yeah, the season actually didn't
leave our
start.
Braves alone.
So
White Sox have a better record.
Yeah, the White Sox, and they also, I think, have more runs in one game than we do all 6 of our first games.
Sox are back.
So we can talk about that. We've also going to talk a little bit about the Masters. That is coming up.
Yes.
And then to wrap it up for the day, we actually have a little fun game that we have planned. Not a game, but some predictions. It's still very early on in the MLB season. It's always fun to do this type of thing. We did it with the NFL.
Yep.
And then to wrap it up, we have a little bit of NFL talk. But we have mentioned Mr. Austin Gundrum, our 2024 Pick'em champion of our NFL series we did. He lives up in Cincinnati. I'm going to let him introduce himself, but he is someone that is very knowledgeable of MLB, especially. He loves MLB.
College basketball,
loves
golf.
college basketball, golf. He's very, very knowledgeable. We get a lot of our information from him. But yes, Mr. Austin Gundrum, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys so much for having me. This has been a long time coming. I'm excited to be here. One quick thing, it is Gundrum.
I'm sorry.
I knew it.
Well, his nickname is Gunny, so I barely say his full last name. I apologize for that. But yes, we call him Gunny.
No.
So yeah.
Yeah, you're fine. No, but right now, currently I'm in sports broadcasting at the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting.
That's so cool.
It's based in Orlando, Florida, but currently I'm doing a lot of it all online. And so far, I mean, a lot of the editing, doing a lot of on-camera stuff, learning how to do all that, trying to get through the process of that. So I'm really excited.
So this is good practice for you then.
Exactly, yeah. So I'm hoping maybe in the future we can do more of this.
Hell yeah.
Make content of my own eventually, but
Hell yeah.
I'm really excited to be here.
How many years have you been in that? What's the program length on that?
So it's actually a 2-year accelerated bachelor's. So I started last year in about, let's say, August, and my graduation date is set for October of this year.
Nice.
So they should help try to get a job coming out as well, but so far, I mean, just still working through a lot of the basis.
What's your goal? Like, do you want to go into like a local radio show? Like, what do you think your ultimate goal is with something like that?
For me, I would say doing like play-by-play commentary, doing any
Color
kind of commentary like that. It's been a big thing, I think, for me, especially where once you get out of high school and it's like a lot of these guys are like, all right, you're not playing professional, you're not going to college. Like, I was like that. I was like, I love sports. I'm very passionate about it. And I thought it was something that I could go into, and it's like a job where it's like, you want to be happy. You want to be happy at a job, and this is something that I know I can be successful with. And I think that just my love of the game and everything along with it will be very good for the sport.
Oh, absolutely. I love the City Connect jersey, by the way. I didn't know you had one of those. Is that Ellie?
Unfortunately, it is a Jonathan India.
Oh, not with the team anymore.
That's the downside. Other than that, I love
those. Are sick jerseys. I love those.
That's funny. Okay, well, let's get into our first topic. I know you are also big in golf.
Well, big announcement.
Yes,
So, Chris, you don't know about this, all right? But before we came in, right, Tiger Woods announced, weeks removed from a ruptured Achilles, he is competing this week in the Masters.
Dylan, you must think that I don't know that today is April Fool's. I saw that tweet come out early this morning. I thought it was hilarious.
Lying.
And then like 2 hours later, after everyone on the planet was talking about it, we're so excited, we want him to play.
Comes out and says,
like,
JK,
just kidding, guys.
my
April
Achilles,
Fool's, you idiots.
my Achilles is still soup.
Yeah. But to go on top of that, the Masters, I think the most coveted, most tradition-based golf tournament, I would say, out there. I think it is the most desired to win out of all the players. Yes, it is coming
Biggest
up.
major.
Biggest major. There's a lot of cool storylines. There's one I think that everyone kind of follows every year is Rory trying to complete the Grand Slam. All he needs is the Masters left.
So this
I know
is it.
everyone kind of roots for him when this time of the year. He just hasn't been able to.
He chokes at the Masters.
Yeah, he really does.
Does
It's
he?
not he.
Well, that was
he
it
does
before
bad.
you were way involved in golf.
Was it
Dylan.
DeChambeau? Was that the Masters when that happened? When Rory went on like a 18th hole meltdown?
No.
and
That
DeChambeau
was
came back?
long time ago.
Okay.
Before I think it was 2000. Correct me. It was sometime in the 2014.
He's done it so many times. It's
But
hard to
the
remember.
one that everyone
Oh.
talks about, he just completely collapsed in the last like 6 holes.
Oh man!
And it was all he needed to do was just not play like shit.
Par
and he played
out
like
every
shit.
hole. Oh, man.
It was way before your time that you got involved in golf.
Who ended up winning? Was it Tiger?
I don't remember who ended up winning.
I don't
that
think
year.
it was. It was.
I don't remember.
I'll go back and look.
But yes, so Masters, best odds to win though, obviously Scotty Scheffler. He was the defending champion. He's got the best. Roy McIlroy has the second best odds, and then some of the more known guys.
Rahm, Oberg. Is it Oberg, Austin?
It's
Yeah, Oberg.
Oberg.
Or Aberg. Oberg.
DeChambeau is also one of my favorites. I think he's, it sucks that he's kind of in live and we barely get to see him
So
on.
I had a question about this. All golfers can compete in this, right?
So,
Because like I saw DeChambeau's name and I was like, I thought this was kind of like divided now.
well, DeChambeau's won it, correctly? Correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty
if you
sure.
win the Masters, you get invited there.
Oh,
so Tiger.
the other LIV golfers can't.
Well, it depends on where you are. Rahm has also won
You have
it,
to qualify.
and you have to
You have to
qualify.
qualify.
But the problem is when Live and PGA separated, when you started playing Live tournaments, you weren't earning points in PGA to qualify.
I remember Vanny
So
saying
that was the big problem to these Live guys. Were like, hold on, I still want points to qualify for the majors and the Masters and stuff like that, but they weren't because they were playing in Live. So that was a big problem between the players.
I see
as well.
now why people are so pissed off by this and
Yes.
like why this makes zero sense.
This is
And
why-
someone trying to get into golf, why the
Yes,
yeah.
this is
So,
why.
so guys, listen to this though. McIlroy in 2011 had a 4-stroke lead.
It was
The
2011.
first 3 rounds. Okay, he literally shot an 80. He shot 8 over par in his final round.
Oh,
He dropped from being in first all the way to 15th place, and Charles Schwartzel was the winner that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Jesus
epic.
Christ.
It
was a meltdown.
was sad. Like it was painful to even see.
Oh man.
But
So
anyway,
you-
Austin,
golfers to watch.
Wes,
Who are you excited
who
to
are
see?
you excited to see? Who's maybe an underdog? Who do you want to win?
Yeah. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to give you a couple trends. These are pretty interesting, I would say, to the least. 24 of the last 25 winners made the cut the year before they won. And 21 of the last 23 were ranked in the top 30 of the world golf rankings. So I know, obviously, with the live golfers, they aren't getting the exact world rankings on there.
Yeah.
So there
that's
is a
another
little
way
bit
it's messed
in
up.
between on that. But I mean, starting off, Rory's definitely the biggest name, I think,
Yeah.
coming into this. First time in his career that he's come into this tournament having 2 PGA Tour wins leading up to the Masters, winning at the Pebble Beach,
Sawgrass,
won
I
at
think, right?
TPC for the Master or
Yeah.
for the players. Yeah, I mean, he's just been on an insane roll. I mean, even from last year, at the end of the year, I think he ended up winning the FedEx. Rolling into this year, I would love to see Rory finally do it.
Yeah.
See, the last time he won a major was 2014.
Yeah, it's been
Like,
a while.
it's
wow.
been way,
A decade,
way
over a
too
decade.
long.
It's been a while.
Yeah, way too long. The last time he did it was at Valhalla when he won the PGA Championship. That's going to be one for him. If he's going to do it, it's got to be within these next couple of years
Yeah.
because
He's
I feel
getting
like
up there
his
in
game
age.
is just eventually
Well,
going to hit downhill.
that and these guys are just getting younger. You
That
see
too.
Wyndham Clark, to name a couple
Yes.
who are just come up.
He's
guys
not
and
even
all-
he's in his 20s,
Oh
right?
yeah, they're very young. So yeah, no, I would agree with you. I think every golf fan who kind of follows this is rooting for Rory for a lot of reasons. I would love to see him win,
Yeah.
although I have kind of said that he's been a little bit of a whiny
He's
bitch.
been,
the past
he's
couple
been a little
years
bit of a prick
when
recently.
it comes to certain things
YouTube
and like
golf
TGL and
and-
YouTube and all this. But I would like to see him win. I also really like DeChambeau.
I love DeChambeau.
I think his personality's great. I think he's good for the game of golf when it comes to trying to combine all of this.
Hey, if you want to see Live and the PGA eventually come together, DeChambeau needs to win this weekend.
You're rooting for
Or next
DeChambeau?
week. He needs to. That would
I
be
mean, he
great for the
finished
sport.
tied.
Maybe not great for certain fans, but it'd be good for the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tied for sixth this past year after missing the cut the last 2 years.
Oh, damn.
Which I feel like he called the Masters a par 67, and that's when he missed those 2 cuts. So it's like he's starting to understand this is a real course.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this
Well,
is
and
nothing to joke
Not every
about.
par 5 can be made in 2 or 3
Wasn't
shots.
it also he like the Masters? They don't allow you to use a green book or something, and
What
he
is
was
a green book?
It shows you like the
elevations
the
of the
elevations
greens
and
and
where it
around
all
the
rolls. And the Masters
Oh.
is one of the courses that they don't allow it. Well, DeChambeau is notorious for like really using the green books on all the courses.
Interesting.
So he like going in, everyone was like, okay, you have no idea what you're trying
His
to
putting's
tackle here.
Yeah.
And he was kind of cocky about it and like, no, I'm better than this. And then it kind of like he
Bit him
just
in the
said, bit
ass?
him in the ass a little bit.
Oh,
And then
okay.
started to respect it a little bit more.
Yeah. And they showed it on Full Swing a little bit. So
Mhm.
Ludwig's first start out on the Masters, they were talking about him, just how detailed he was in his approach. Like they were going out there, obviously like the caddies and such go out early, like the day before and stuff. But like he was going into so much detail about where shots need to be, where they have to be. And this is his first Masters. It's like he's starting to figure it out, and he finished in second. So
Yeah.
it starts to come with like knowing the course. That where a lot of the Masters, it's like being there over and over again. A lot of these guys start to eventually figure it out. But a guy like like I said, Ludwig, like you got to study the course. You got to know where every little bump and valley and everything is on, because no shot is flat.
Yeah, that's the notorious thing about the Masters is they say, you know how when we're out, it's always with the balls above my feet. This sucks. It's a completely different swing.
Yeah.
With the Masters, what makes it so hard is it's so hilly and it's
Every shot.
every single shot is
center,
either below your
off
feet,
balance.
above your feet, the
Oh
ball,
my
yeah,
God.
elevation and the greens, and then you put in the greens of how hard the greens are. That's why they say it is the hardest course to win on.
I don't think I knew. I guess it makes sense that the caddies would go out the day before. Did they play the
they
course?
They go out. Do you not know the routine of a normal PGA event?
So when I tell you, like, I am brand new to golf within the
Okay.
last year, and hopefully some of the other viewers are here, and this is a good opportunity to explain. But yes, explain this to me as a golf virgin.
So what's cool about the Masters of any PGA event is now the Masters has a par 3 course within the Masters, and they play that on Wednesday, correct? And it's televised.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the golfers get there on probably Monday, Tuesday. They can play practice rounds, whatever they want. For Masters, Wednesday, they have everyone play the par 3 tournament. So it's all the golfers and like their family. It's a cool event.
Interesting.
And it's fun story. I don't think anyone has ever won the par 3 event and also won the Masters in the same week. So that'd be cool if maybe that happened.
Yeah.
But yes, then they play the par 3 event. All the families there, kids, they all dress up in the white, caddy suits.
Yeah.
Because that's also famous for there. And then Thursday, obviously, you play your first round. And then, if you make that's like a normal tournament. But every tournament, it's like Tuesday, Wednesday, you get practice rounds. And then you play, your real round on Thursday,
weekend.
Friday. If you make the cut, you play Saturday, Sunday.
Okay. I'm definitely, so absolutely, like I said, first year in golf, I will be tuning in. I'm guessing ESPN, right? It's going to be on like all day.
Yeah,
Starts at noon.
ESPN's on. Yeah,
CBS.
CBS.
Like this. Well, they usually do
CBS
it. So like the
usually has
Masters
Masters.
is pretty interesting. Where like they don't make the broadcasting do like commercials. So like this year it's going to be even more coverage too. They added on to it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then like the
Sounds
par
like my
3,
kind of sport.
the par 3 is always it's always on live and on that Wednesday, so that's always fun to watch.
Oh.
But yes, that is fun. I don't think anyone has ever won the par 3 and then won the Masters in the same week, so that'd be cool.
It would be cool.
No, so let's go on to that. I think that's enough of golf for now. But yes, Masters, if you have, don't forget, comment who some of your favorite guys are. Maybe your long shot
question,
betting
how
odds of
many-
who might win.
How many golfers compete at the Masters? How many is it?
It's probably.
I'd imagine it's a lot.
Well, you have to qualify, like you
it's not
said.
that many, actually.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, like 24?
No. It's probably in the 50s or 60s,
Oh my
if I had to
God.
guess.
Okay, that's way more than I was expecting.
Yeah, and then of course, like the tournament that me and Vanny always go to, the PGA Championship, you only the top 25 golfers of the whole season go to that.
Jesus Christ! And this is a walkable course, right? None of them use
None
carts?
of them use carts.
So right now, guys, there's 90.
None of them
You have
use
90
Why?
golfers on the tee sheet right now for the
Oh my
Masters.
90.
So 90. And so that's why the cut gets you down to about half of that.
Yeah.
You know, the cut line
okay.
on after Friday.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I'm excited. This is, like I said, first time I'm even tuning into professional golf, like televised.
No,
I'm a fan of playing.
if you're gonna watch any tournament, the Masters is the one to watch.
Hell yeah.
So next, let's get into.
Speaking of other tournaments.
Yes, other tournaments. It was big this past weekend, this past week.
Really good games.
March
man.
Madness, Sweet 16, and the Elite 8 recap. I was really, really hoping for the Arkansas Kentucky championship just for a little personal with Vanny of making fun of him. And if Arkansas would have beat Kentucky in the championship, I would have never let that go.
Would have been incredible.
I would have framed something and sent it to or something.
Anytime Vanny heard the name Calipari, his blood would start
It
boiling.
does now. It does now. But yeah, so that kind of sucked. But I will say, and I don't think it's any coincidence, this was a conversation that we had the other day, is all 4 teams remaining are the 1 seeds. It's first time it's happened since 2008.
That's only the second time in history.
Second time in history it's ever happened.
Yep.
Do you think this is a coincidence? Or is it just no, it's just like 2008, it just happened, and it's only happened twice, so it's
there
an anomaly.
Might not be another year outside of anomalies where it's nothing but 1 seeds. It's headed for that. And that just means, I guess, they got the seeding right this year. Yeah, they were correct about their 1 seeds. Like, you look at it that way. All the girlfriends that just picked out a bracket and thought, ooh, 1's high. They're, celebrating. Yeah, they're happy that, like, oh my God, my Final Four's intact. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
NIL. I'll let Gunny touch on this, and then we can kind of go into more of what I truly think of something we've been saying for months, and now everyone is kind of starting to funnel back into that same topic.
No, they definitely. I think we do owe an apology to the people who did create the bracket. I think they did get the seedings right.
Yeah,
especially for the
pretty spot on.
Yeah, I heard this yesterday. It was very interesting. Since the creation of Ken Palm, so that was 96, 97, where they do the metric system. These 4 teams would all rank in the top 10.
Chris literally told us this yesterday.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Duke was 2nd, Houston's 6, Florida's 8, and Auburn's 10.
Yep. All 4 teams.
It was so top heavy this year. These teams deserve to be here for sure. And it shows.
But let's talk about why it's top heavy. Like, transfer portal,
even
NIL.
to go, hold on though, even to go like past the Final Four, like the Elite 8, the Sweet 16.
There were no Cinderellas.
Like, it was nothing but high seeds. And Arkansas was a 10 seed. And I don't even count Arkansas as a 10 seed.
The only reason they were a 10 seed is because they had a very slow start.
And it's, so this whole tournament, it just felt like, and that's why the narrative of the conversation in the big ESPN headlines has been, hey, is this dead? Has NIL ruined this? And I don't know. Unfortunately, I think it's you'd be a little delusional to say that it doesn't have an effect on this.
Well, that and the transfer portal, we were out at lunch yesterday, and 1,300 players, basketball players,
and within the first
in
1 week.
That's 1 week.
Within the first 3 days, it was almost up to 900, 700, 700, 900. So it's just, and that's a whole nother story of when the transfer portal should be opened and when, that should be allowed to happen. I don't think you're ever going to stop it though, because there's always going to be tampering. There's always going to be, coaches, players talking within the. So, but it is a little, I wouldn't say unfortunate. It just is going to, I think, hurt the smaller market teams.
Well, yeah. I mean, like
you were talking about it last week. You guys have to win your conference. If you even want to be a 14 seed.
That's right. To win the Big Sky, we're usually a 16 seed, a 15 seed. And so the fair weather fan like myself, that's what pulls me in. Yep. And I could tell you, I've told you guys the years I went and watched the Grizz play when we were in that regional, right, where I saw Shaq play and some Lonzo Mourning, those guys.
Yep.
And that's the only reason I went. But now, knowing what's going to happen with NIL, like, Why get excited after the first round? You're just going to lose in the round of 32. Like, you're not going to get by these schools with all this money.
Yeah, no, it's coming to a close.
What's your take on that, Gunny? Do you think that it's not ruining it, but do you think it's going down a path that might just be unfixable or undoable? You know, what's your take on that?
At this rate, I mean, I feel like it's always fixable. There's definitely things you can fix. I definitely disagree with where the transfer portal opens.
It's
I mean,
crazy.
you saw it even in college football too, where
during bowl week.
Portal, during the playoffs, essentially, teams are still playing, and you had guys dropping out left and right even before like the games are started. Like Penn State's backup quarterback didn't participate in the playoffs because he said, "Well, I gotta go. I gotta go somewhere else." And if you don't get into like a team within that first week of the portal opening, you're not gonna find a job because they're gonna fill out. They're gonna fill them out for sure.
And that on top of that,
basketball too. Yeah, basketball too. It is a little bit of a different.
It's different.
A little bit of a different situation just because the less amount of players, but I don't know. I mean, right now, it's definitely alarming to see how many guys did transfer and now how many are entering. So it's definitely going to be interesting to watch, especially like the next coming years is really when they're going to make a decision.
It's in a very awkward spot. But like, think about it from this way. It's like, how far back can they push the transfer portal deadline? Because like, these schools have deadlines for registration and like to enroll in classes. It's not just going there to play sports. And I know we say like academics takes a back seat.
These kids aren't going there to play sports.
But those
to do school.
But those registration deadlines are finite. Like they're not. You can't push them back.
I hear you.
And so it's like, how far back can they realistically move the transfer portal before it starts, interfering with the next semester?
No, I hear you. So
it's like it gets messy.
And that's also the unfortunate part too, with I think a lot of these guys but they're not. Like for a lot of the, I'll bring football into example. When Oregon and some of these other schools entered the Big Ten. So just because football enters the Big Ten, now you're affecting all these other sports to where you're having the Oregon softball team have to travel all the way to Ohio State or Penn State on a Wednesday to go play a regular season game. So just because, and yes, football is king. If it wasn't for football, a lot of these sports wouldn't even have the funds to function at some of these schools. So that's kind of the give and take of it. But at the same time, it's like, where's the line? Like, where's the line of, okay, this is maybe gone a little bit too far. Let's come out and say, hey, we kind of messed up. We kind of opened up a way bigger can of worms than we were expecting. We need to dial this back, and here are some set of rules. But even I said this too, is it's even harder because it's not like the NFL or the MLB to where it's one organization, it's one group of people making the rules or the decisions. You're now having to deal with the SEC commissioners, the Big Ten commissioners, all these different conferences where it's like
different sports.
The Ivy League, they all have different rules for transfers and sitting out and all this stuff. So there's just so many more just pills to swallow when it comes to changing rules than it is for someone like the NFL to go, nope, we're going to change the overtime rules. Our owners voted on it. And this is the decision we're making.
Where you
it's
only
done.
need, that's a perfect example because in the NFL, we're talking about it later this episode where they're voting on rule changes. You need 24 out of 32 to pass. That's it. And with college football,
it's just
the numbers probably in like the 50s,
any college
maybe even
sport,
hundreds. It's a lot.
The problem is,
of
though,
people.
guys, if they don't open up the portal, okay, let's just say they don't open the portal. If they don't, now as soon as a team is knocked out, they're talking. Those players are talking to other coaches like it's happening. So at least the portal kind of keeps them honest. At least a player's in it. But it does it is like what Dawson said. It's like opening up free agency during wild card weekend. I mean, how dumb
contracts. The thing that would solve this all is contracts and saying you can't transfer until the season's over. And you can't use the transfer portal until your contract is up, which is after the final game is played.
Or it's, or there's little stuff like, hey, you can't, if you transfer within the same conference, you have to sit out a year.
That too.
And you go into that school knowing, hey, if I go to Georgia, it doesn't work out for like Justin Fields, for example. I know he went to Ohio State, but if he went to Georgia and he wanted to go play
Transferred
for
to
Florida or Alabama,
Yep.
it was, hey, I knew going into this that if I wanted to go play for another SEC team, I had to sit out. I signed that contract. I signed that deal. I have to, what's the word? Follow the rules for that decision I made. So to me, it's just like, if I really wanted to, I said this example, I could play for Georgia my first year. I could play for Florida my second year. I could go play for Tennessee my third year. And then I could go play for Alabama my fourth year with no penalty.
Yep.
That's not
millions.
right. It's not right.
Yeah, it's
and
not.
But it's a tricky slope. I know Vanny also mentioned that they're voting on that whole thing in the next coming weeks. I don't know exactly what it's called or when it is. But he mentioned that, so hopefully that goes good, and there's some good conversations of this stuff that is, all the NIL stuff and college basketball and college football that we've seen. But it's tricky, and it's very. I think people are also scared to talk about it and scared to bring it up because they don't know what answer is right. It's like taking a test. And all the answers are right, but A is the more right answer.
Yeah, it's like the LSAT.
So yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are always going to be pro players, player, especially now that these college guys are getting paid. You don't want to be sitting here being like, oh, well, I don't want to give the college guy money. Now it sounds like you're rooting for the university, and now it's like, oh, now you're on the NCAA side. No one wants to be on their side. So it's definitely a give and take with it for sure. I don't know.
It's very tricky, very tricky.
No, but back to the Sweet 16.
So let's get into. Let's go to the Final Four. Final Four are two. Who is it? It's Houston, Duke, Florida, Auburn.
Really good matchups.
Gunny, who are your favorites out of those two?
So my bracket, I got the Houston Cougars. I love Kelvin Sampson.
Oh, there you go.
Dude's just been on an incredible run since
got the
joining
best
Houston.
team he's probably had, and God knows how long.
Yeah, and he just went to the Final Four
year.
This year or the year prior. Yeah, and last year they had a guy get injured towards the end of the year that kind of killed him.
Yep.
And now this year, the defense is still there. They
had the best defense in the league or in the nation.
Yeah, and now they're shooting lights out from three. It's like that team is dangerous, especially if they can get hot on offense.
Oh yeah.
But when they're playing against Duke, it's going to be the defense that's going to be the focus. That team is just too talented. It's a young team. It's definitely a young team, but
all five of their starters are under 20. Yeah. All five of them.
Yeah. And I think all of Houston's are
over 20.
20.
Over 20, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of their guys are seniors. That's why. So this is why it's such an interesting matchup, because Houston they've had guys, the same core has been together for 2 or 3 years by now.
And a few transfers nowadays,
a few transfers that also helped teams go deep in the playoffs or in the March Madness tournament last year. They have a guy from Purdue, and Purdue was in the Final Four last year, I think. And so it's there's a lot of championship pedigree to be played out on the court. And I think Houston's averaging 9 made 3-pointers a game right now in the tournament. That's a lot. That's a lot just off of 3-pointers. And like we said earlier, the nation's best defense against arguably the best team, most talented team. That's not a question, but they're young. And so Houston could end up getting the edge of them. Yeah. And it's like you said. So Austin, do you have them winning this game?
I got Houston winning it all. So I like Houston in this one. I like Houston in the next one.
Who do they play?
Out of all the bracket, what? Oh, so Houston's playing Duke, but
no, in the final. Who do you have them beating in the final?
Oh, I have them beating Florida.
Okay.
So a little bit of a segue to Florida.
Yep.
Walter Clayton Jr.
A dog.
That dude is
dog.
Insane. I mean, if that dude is gonna get hot against Auburn, I don't see Auburn keeping up with them.
Well, I mean, what Florida did to Maryland
are gonna body Broom too.
Oh, well, and Broom's battling an injury. So I think we all saw the Auburn game on, what was that, Sunday they played, where Broom, their best player, Johnny Broom.
Yeah.
It looked like he hyperextended his knee and his elbow in the same fall.
Yeah.
The same fall, which and then he came out 5 minutes later. He came back into the game and then nailed a 3-pointer. And then that was I think by then Michigan State, they fought back a little bit. I think they only lost by 6, but I think they were shit.
Yeah.
But Florida, like Florida. I don't know if anyone can beat Florida.
I like Florida's offense. I think like they've been doing all year. Their offense has been keeping them in games and being able to just outscore opponents. But like we kind of saw with Houston, Houston was able to shut down a Tennessee offense who was also very good
red hot
because of how good their defense was.
Yep.
So, you know, the old classic saying of defense wins championships.
It does.
Houston, I think, would probably be my favorite just because of how dominant they have been on the defensive side of the ball.
Which probably means Duke's going to win it all.
Probably. Probably.
Always has a way.
Well, on the Florida-Auburn game, they played, I think, Florida crushed them at home. I think they were playing in Auburn, and they beat them. They only won by, I think, like 9 points, but they were up by like as much as 21 at one point.
Yeah.
So it was not close. And Florida hit 13 threes the last time, which, not to say that can be replicated. That's hard. Hitting 13 threes in any game is hard, but especially when Auburn has the #1 perimeter defense. So it's another one. Both of these games are going to be chess matches, I think. And I think they're going to be lower scoring than people are probably anticipating.
Yeah. No, and I'm just happy that, like we kind of mentioned last week, that we're getting some really high quality basketball games.
And that might also be a product of NIL. It's not, the talent isn't as spread out. You're getting juggernauts facing each other, especially in the later rounds of this tournament. So you can look at it either way. I think it's a good and a bad thing that all of this is transpiring right now.
Well, remember what they said, out of the top 10 college basketball teams in the last 10 years.
That's what we just said. That's what Gunny just said.
Crazy.
All 4 of them. Yeah, all 4 of them. Yeah.
It's crazy.
So it is cool to watch.
You're hoping this is what everyone's been waiting for. Because we didn't get the madness that we're used to, but like now we got the best seeds. We're hoping this is going to be the best.
Well, I was going to say this Final Four is worlds better than last year's Final Four. Like it was just, it's not even close. And like, yes, the 2 games that are going to be played this weekend, I'm, again, just like last weekend, I'm going to watch every second.
Yeah, I agree.
Such good.
I agree.
Such good competition.
So to go into competition and, you know, maybe some rules or some illegal cheating or, you know, it's no surprise. It's been all over. It's been all over. The Yankees using the so-called torpedo bats, bowling pin bats, whatever you want to say. Do you think this is going to get banned in the next couple weeks?
Yeah, what do you think, Austin?
No, I actually don't.
Good.
This has been something that's been a little bit talked about actually since last season.
Yeah, people were using them last year.
A new Reds acquired Jose Trevino. He just joined the Reds this year. He was on the Yankees last year. And he was actually like one of the first guys that start to mess around with it. They said even back to last spring training. Yeah. It's just never got to actually be used in a game. And it works for some guys. I really do think, like, you look at Aaron Judge, he doesn't need to use this bat.
No.
It's very tailored to guys who are making more contact on the lower part of the bat that's closer to them. Because the MIT guy they had created, he made it specifically because of the way some of the guys were hitting. It's like they do all this testing of like how many times they're hitting off the end, off the barrel, on the inside parts of the bat, and just shifting that barrel a little bit. Like it seems like it makes the difference, and for a lot of guys. So I don't think they're gonna get rid of it. I mean, baseball is always better when people are hitting, and it's nothing new. I feel like too. Like I feel like it's nothing new in the sense of that. People have always been trying to get the next leg up. Like people are always trying to do the next thing. Like Ellie last year, you know, he had a little bit of an extension on his knob on like some people
I remember
different handles or different thicknesses. It's like it qualifies under all of the rules. I mean, more hits equals more fun.
I agree.
More hits and home runs.
And it's also like if you're gonna shift the field players based on the tendencies of where a hitter normally hits the ball, what's wrong with the hitter shifting the tendency of his bat because he hits the ball on a certain... So to me, that also kind of falls under the same rule to where it's like, you know, they're not cheating. They're just tailoring their bat to how they swing, you know,
that could be an argument against it because they banned the shift.
Well, no,
like,
they didn't.
You can't shift.
You can shift. You just have to have so many people like in the dirt,
in the line,
Yeah,
well,
so
They did kind of ban it because before you could have three people
and you could
on
have
one
someone
side
in
of
the
second base, and then your third baseman is playing shortstop.
They,
in the
I would
outfield.
say they like nerfed it. They
nerfed
made it.
it.
They made it to where it was a little that you could still do it, but not as like effective as like you were just saying.
I don't think there is any reason in hell they should get rid of these bats. Like you said, it's in regulation. It's not bigger. Like it's just bigger in other parts and smaller in other parts, but it's the same size. It hasn't changed in weight.
That's what she said.
It's okay.
There's no way
I
you
knew
said
it. I knew
Oh,
it was coming.
man.
I mean,
anyways.
seriously, how can we not ban these bats? Yeah, let's let the
Chris
Yankees
wants them
get like
banned.
15 home runs
No.
Hey,
every
you
single
want to
game.
know what, Chris? The 0-5 Braves placed an order for these bats.
Yeah,
last
thank
week.
God they better fucking get here
Padres-
faster.
I don't think the bats are going to
We
help.
need
See the
them
way they swing
bad.
the bat? You
Bad.
gotta swing it.
Yeah,
No,
that's true.
like Gunny kind of said. I think it's good for baseball. More hits,
Yes.
more home runs. That is going to what is going. That's people are going to get drawn in by that. Not good pitching.
Well, it's the same thing with the juiced balls. Like
Well,
way
remember
back
the
when.
McGuire,
I love
McGuire
the juiced
hit like
balls.
70 home runs in that one season.
Yeah.
You guys were probably too young to remember.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, it was like
Literally
everybody was watching
juicing.
baseball.
Oh,
Everyone was.
I bet.
I agree. It's going to have more people tune in.
We also need some more two-way players, I think.
Well, I think that's a whole nother topic for like Shohei. I think it's a 50-50 chance
Category of
Shohei
his
doesn't
own.
pitch again, and they just kind of be like, okay, well, you won MVP, you won us World Series. If that's what you want, then that's what you want, Shohei. But no, to go into a little bit of this is the kind of the game that I hinted at. We're going to. I know the season already started. It's only been a weekend, so I don't give a shit.
These
I don't
odds
care.
changed, yeah.
Baseball's so weird.
Too
It can
many
be
baseball games.
yeah, too many games. But yes, we are going to kind of go over a little bit of our MLB award predictions.
Only really two, because with MLB, again,
Well, yeah.
baseball's weird. Rookie of the year is damn near impossible to predict.
Yeah, so we're just gonna do the MVP for both leagues, and then we're gonna do Cy Young for both leagues.
Yep.
So to kick it off, I'll kick it off. I think Aaron Judge is going to have an amazing year. I think he's going to have
Like
another
every year.
50 home run regular season. Now, the story with him, I said it, when they were in the World Series last year, he's going to have to show up in the big moments of the playoffs because he's kind of, shrunk in those moments.
Yep.
But I think he's going to have an amazing regular season. He'll lock up another MVP, as he should. My
does.
NL, I'm going Shohei. Shohei is MLB's golden boy.
The golden betting boy.
He's going to have a 50-50 season again. If he pitches again, that just puts another notch on him for them to give it to him. So as long as I think he just plays average and he's going to probably play above his average, he'll get that as well. So those are my two picks.
I mean, it's hard to go against it, but
Yeah. I know
would
they're really
say-
basic, and I know it's like, well, obviously that's who you're gonna. It's very hard to go because if I didn't say Shohei, then you're stupid for not picking Shohei.
You're just trying to be different.
Yeah, you're just trying to be different.
You're trying to get clicks.
Yeah.
Like, okay, but yeah,
You just gotta pick something.
You have
Really
to.
do.
there's no way. I'll say that later. But so my AL pick, American League, I could have chose Aaron Judge, but I think because like what I said while you were going into like Aaron Judge having another great regular season, I do think voter fatigue starts to set in a little bit. And I do think Adley Rutschman ends up, who was a candidate last year and had a great year last year, is only getting better. And with Gunnar Henderson hurt for the Orioles, is going to need to carry an even larger load now. But Adley Rutschman, switch hitting catcher.
Yeah.
Like, I think
No.
he could lock it up. He's got every single tool imaginable, and he hits the hell out of the ball.
He's very fun to watch too.
Yes.
He's a very likable guy.
Oh my God,
yeah,
yeah.
I like Adley.
So I think Adley could definitely win MVP this year. He's my pick. But NL, I had Fernando Tatis Jr. picked for this because I really think he's going to go the fuck off
He started
this year.
off really good. Against the Braves, he was...
He is going to have an insane year, but it's like Austin said before we started, it's not going to matter if Shohei pitches because Shohei is going to have the exact same production as Fernando, but he's going to have an ERA.
Yeah.
And even having one of those in general while being, puts him up above him, but his ERA is probably going to be under 3. Ridiculous. Like you can't, there is not a better player in baseball. And I said it before we started as well. I don't think there's going to be a year for like 5, 6, 7 years unless he's hurt where Ohtani doesn't win MVP.
Yeah.
It's going to be his every single season. There's nothing that anybody can do about it unless, like I said earlier, we get some more two-way players. And there is one, I think, in is it Caglione? who Austin, you might know. One of
Jack
the is he the two-way guy from Florida?
Yeah, I don't know if they are going to let him go two ways, but I know at Florida last year he did pitch and he played first DH.
And he was a stud at both. Like he was a stud, hitting 40 bombs and then throwing high 90s.
Yeah.
You need more players like that. I think that would draw more people to baseball more than anything, is having those guys flood the roster.
It's definitely hard to do both.
Yes.
Shohei Ohtani is literally a unicorn. Like,
he is.
He's one of a kind to really do it the way he's doing. It's insane.
Yeah.
He's
but for my MVP picks, so starting off with the AL, really love Bobby Witt Jr. I mean,
he could have won last year.
Yeah, last year. So last year he should have, I felt like. But
yeah.
I mean, he just hits the crap out of the ball. I mean, 320 or 332 batting average, led the MLB in hits.
He's a great defensive
a solid
shortstop.
guy. Yes, defensively great. And for this Royals team, he is going to be the heart and soul of the team.
Oh yeah.
Led him to the playoff last year. And I could see him doing it again this year. I mean, 31 stolen bases, 32 homers, maybe a 40-40 season for him this year. But, it's all going to come down to health, I feel like, really, with him. But he did pretty well with it last year.
Yeah, he was healthy last year, but before that, it was,
But NL, can't disagree.
Surprise.
It's really, I think, if he does pitch, if he pitches,
how do you not give it to him? Like, how?
It's hard to say no. But if he doesn't pitch, or he, unfortunately, if he does lead into some injuries,
here it comes.
Ellie, hey, he got to use the torpedo. The torpedo last night.
2 home runs, right?
He was 4 for 5.
4 for 5, 2 homers, 7 RBIs. Ellie's sitting there, just everything.
Pack it away.
Awesome. I want to see so much Ellie this year. I want to see him go 40-40. He definitely, I don't know if he can get the 40 homers. I would love to see it. But on the stolen bases side, he definitely has a shot to lead the league for stolen bases.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, yeah. But on top of that, it's like, he's definitely a dark horse for MVP, but I think he's probably going to be one of the more impressive players this year. I know he was last year, but last year you could say, okay, he struck out a shit ton. He had a shit ton of errors. I know that the plate discipline is a lot better going forward, but how are the errors looking so far?
I mean, even still, it's like Ellie can make some of these errors here and there, but then you see him the next time out, and he just makes a ridiculous play. Like the range, I think, is where he starts making harder plays. He makes those, but when it comes to the easy ones, he's just he tends to have a problem with them.
It's like missing a layup.
But yeah, exactly. Like you're just running so fast to the basket. Right up the That's kind of where Ellie is. But then, he's sitting at half court. He'll hit a half court shot. Like that's kind of where I feel like he is in the field. It's like he goes all out and will make a great play. But then, the simple stuff he tends to have some problems with.
So he just needs to slow down a little bit. Maybe just a tad.
Yeah, I mean, he's fast. You can't tell him to slow down.
He's also, I think, really good for baseball.
Oh, my God, yeah.
He has a great personality.
Well, he's an international player learning English as well, something that Ohtani is not doing.
He draws a lot of, I think, good publicity, good, likable tendencies for a guy. And especially in a small market that Cincinnati is,
with a huge fan base.
He's bringing a lot of attention to that. So I really like Ellie. I like to see him succeed. I think he'll lead the league in stolen bases, no question, if he stays healthy the whole year and if the batting average stays good.
What is he, like 6'6"?
For him to get on base. I like Ellie. I really like. If I was a Cincy fan, I would have a jersey in every single color of him. So yes, I like Ellie.
Yeah, hell yeah.
To go on to our Cy Youngs, we're gonna pick some Cy Youngs too for each league. I have Logan Gilbert.
Seattle, right?
Seattle guy. Seattle Mariners. He's very young.
They have a couple different pitchers that can be Cy Young
He's
candidates.
got the third best odds. This one was kind of like, well, I could just go the best odds and just say, yeah, this is who I think.
Yeah.
I think he's very, like I said, he's very young.
Yeah.
He's very talented. his first outing, I think he had almost 8-9 strikeouts. So he's throwing obviously really good stuff.
Strikeouts is one of the most
I'm pretty sure
important
he was their
stats.
opening day starter, so that says a lot of what they think about him in the organization.
Well, absolutely.
So I really like him to win, Cy Young this year. I think it'd be great for baseball to have a young guy like that, kind of the same way Paul Skeens did it last year.
Oh, yeah.
No, did he win the Cy Young last year? No,
he
Skeens
won Rookie of the Year.
Yes, I was
Sale
wrong on
was
that.
Cy Young.
Yes, you're right. So my NL though, I have Zach Wheeler. He kind of got, I wouldn't say snubbed last year.
I mean,
Chris Sale had an amazing year last year,
otherworldly.
and I think if it wasn't for what Chris Sale did, Zach Wheeler probably would have won it last year.
I feel like is Zach Wheeler old?
He's a little bit older.
I've been hearing that name for so damn long.
He's a little bit older, but he's in a Phillies rotation, a Phillies team. Who he's kind of been the
ace
core nucleus of that team pitching wise for the past couple years of them going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I like Zach Wheeler this year. Unless, Chris Sale or someone like that, or Paul Skeens is another one that people are going to say, I like Zach Wheeler. He was second last year. I think he plays on a really good team. They get a lot of attention. That's kind of how it goes with some of these votings is the more popular teams, the more popular guys get the media. So I like him this year for that.
Zach Wheeler turns 35 this year.
Yeah. So he's an older guy.
Been there for a while. And it's one of those players baseball is great that way that you tend to see a lot of players in their late 30s.
Well, you saw Chris Sale last year. What he did.
Yeah. Sometimes they have injury-riddled seasons and careers to start for the first 7 or 8 years. You write them off. And then they come back for 9, 10, and however long they play, and they're one of the best in baseball.
By the way, he's from here,
He's from Atlanta. He played.
Really?
I think he played. Oh man, he went to high school really close to here. Like Buford or something like that.
Dallas.
No, or like East Paulding. I think he went to East Paulding actually.
Campbell. He played at Campbell. Or no, he didn't want to go play at Campbell. He played East Paulding. He played where Sean played.
I know something. Let's go.
Going into my Cy Young, so I am slightly biased with this first pick, but it's a great pick, and he almost won it last year. Garrett Crochet on the Red Sox, former White Sox pitcher. Had 200 strikeouts last year, pitched a shit ton of innings. He's on a much better team now, on, like you said, a team that gets much more recognition than the White Sox.
Yeah.
They just extended him to a 6-year deal yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago.
Yeah,
so
or 2 days.
Yeah, they obviously think that he's going to be a stud for years to come. I think this is the year he wins Cy Young. This is his first year as a starter was last year. And he was second or third in voting. Yeah. It's crazy. And so yes, he's their ace. He's a lefty, throws it 100 miles per hour. So I do think he gets the nod over Logan Gilbert. And then I'm blanking on the other top candidates in the AL, but he's my pick. I know it sucks that Garrett Cole got hurt.
Yeah.
Scooble's
in there. Scooble was another one where I was like, and
he won last year.
It's an easy one to pick because he won last year, and
yeah.
chances are you're not going to win 2 years in a row.
Sometimes you do, though. You have to outdo yourself in order to win it 2 years in a row and hope that a guy like Crochet or Gilbert isn't going to top you.
Yeah.
But my NL pick is Paul Skeens. I'm very on the fence about this because he is no doubt the best pitcher in the NL, but is he going to have the wins? Because I know it shouldn't matter, but wins does matter a little bit as a pitching stat, and at least they show it every year on when they're showing Cy Young candidates. Wins is the third stat they show, right next to ERA and strikeouts, and then walks per 9. So they've already fumbled one Paul Skeens start. It was opening day, and they lost in the 9th. So if the Pirates are going to be the Pirates, he may come away with 10 wins, but he has 25 outings.
To go on that, I will say last year Chris Sale. Chris Sale kind of got screwed in that aspect too, where he would let up 2-3 runs, but the Braves bats we couldn't score more than 3 runs, so that counted as a loss for him technically, and he still won.
No contest.
We couldn't score any runs. Was that this year?
Again, we're not talking about the Braves. The season starts tonight. Okay, we're 0-0. The last week didn't happen.
I guess they shouldn't have gotten rid of that hitting coach. We're not talking about that.
Yeah,
remember they switched out their hitting coach.
Last year they did, and ever since he left, it's been. We're taking up Austin's time. Yes, Austin, your predictions for the Cy Young.
All right, now. Well, I mean, the Braves are going to be bad. That's fine.
I agree, Austin.
So to start, AL Cy Young, I'm going to agree with you, Dawson. I like Logan Gilbert. it's hard to pick against Tarek Skubal just because he won Cy Young last year. I felt like he couldn't go with it again this year.
Yeah.
But Logan Gilbert last year definitely fell under that win-loss record where it's a bad look for him. He was 9-12.
Exactly.
But realistically, solid pitcher all around. I mean, he had 3 ERA, over 220 strikeouts.
Exactly. Yep.
Finished 6th in Cy Young voting last year. I'm hoping the Mariners can help him out a little bit on offense.
Yeah.
Just so, he can have that good season where he gets those wins and losses. But for pitching, yeah, it's definitely going to come down to this ERA and everything along with strikeouts too. And he put up his most innings pitched this past season too. So if he can continue that along with getting a little bit more strikeouts and just being more of an efficient pitcher, he definitely has a shot at this.
Yeah. I think it's a good pick.
For NL, again, Paul Skeens. I think it's definitely everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
It's not as deep as I would say. Like, I mean, yeah, you got Paul Skeens.
Logan Webb is a sleeper, but he's I feel like I hear his name every year and then he just falls off halfway through.
Yeah, like Wheeler maybe, and I've heard Blake Snell as well.
Aaron Nola, you can maybe throw Aaron Nola in there too.
Yeah, even that too. But I mean, where Skeens is at, he only had a partial season last year and was below 2 ERA. I mean, ridiculous. 170 strikeouts in 133 innings.
Yep.
He's incredible. He's adding more pitches to his repertoire this year.
I saw that.
He's been making waves with that, and he's going to be dominant. And then that's where you were saying before, if the Pirates can win some games, he's for sure going to get a Cy Young. At least on the days that he's pitching. Yeah. If they win games, they will have no issue giving him a Cy Young.
If they win half his starts, I think they give it to him. Yeah, I think that's all you need. Like 15-15.
I mean, most of their wins last year were on days that Skeens pitched. I mean, I think he had 22 starts, but on the days he did start, they went 11-3, and then the rest were no decision. So it's like, they tried. They
really tried.
Yeah. So to wrap up Gunny's time with us, I want to ask him what is one team that you think is kind of how the Texas Rangers were a couple years ago. One team that's just kind of going to blow up and be like, hey, they're really good. They've got some pretty good under the radar pitching. They've got guys who can hit the ball, and they're winning a ton of games. Who do you think that team is going to be this year? If you just had to guess based off some of the first week of action off season. I know it's hard, but it's fun to do this type of stuff.
Basically, who's going to dethrone the Dodgers that's not the Yankees is what we're asking.
This
I was waiting for
Cincinnati Redlegs. Tito bringing in Terry Francona is definitely a complete vibe change. I mean, going from David Bell, who really was a player's coach, he was too soft on a lot of the guys. And for a Reds team that, I mean, the average age has to be like 24, like easily. Like there are so many young guys on this roster.
Yeah.
They need someone with some kind of veteran leadership that's actually going to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
And that was one thing that Tito brought up during spring training, is that he came up to Ellie and was like, we're keeping you. Are you ready to be responsible? Like every mistake you made, you need to be held accountable. And so this year, I think it's definitely going to be a vibe change. They brought in Brady Singer, traded my boy Jonathan India, but he showed last night that he can be a solid guy in the rotation. And it really comes down to health. I mean, Hunter Green and Lodolo.
Hunter Green's a dog. He's awesome.
Every year it seems like these guys are always injured. And they really need to hold on to that much. So the Reds are going to excel is in that pitching staff. The outfield, on the other hand, is, I think, their weak spot. They just never get outfielders. Like you'll see them during the draft, during free agency, nothing but pitchers, shortstops, infielders. They never want to go get an outfielder.
Well, they're one of the cheaper franchises as well, right? Like they don't like spending money too often.
No, they do not.
Yeah, it's spending money, and it's like just not enough money.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's where the worry is of bringing Ellie in for years on end.
That's a $700 million contract, brother.
Yeah. This team this year, I think, is a lot stronger than what they've had in years prior, along with Tito having that managerial experience, winning a World Series. It's definitely a vibe change, I would say.
Yeah.
Bring back Joey Votto?
No, they're not bringing him back.
Yes.
Well, like we kind of mentioned, it is a long ML. It starts tonight. You know,
all right,
and
yeah, sure.
We're 0-0
after the White Sox have won some games. The season starts.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
All right.
No, I love. We're going to the Phillies game next week when they play Atlanta. Hopefully, it's not
a week from today.
embarrassing because I hate Philadelphia when it comes to their fans.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's gonna be fun to watch. A lot of these guys. I think baseball is slowly starting to gain some momentum and some traction from other people tuning in and.
Same
having
with
it
hockey.
be important and like, hey, like I'll watch a baseball game.
Yeah.
Or I'll kind of pay attention to who's winning games, who's doing good.
Give me
who's
robo-umps.
But yes, no, thank you to our guest, Mr. Gunny, our 2024 winner of our pick'em, like we kind of mentioned. He is behind the scenes in a lot of conversations, of a lot of information that we get when it comes to, you know, opinions that we try to formulate or create. Between me and Dylan. So there are a lot of people behind the scenes that have made some of these conversations happen. He is one of them. But yes, we appreciate you for coming on with us today, sharing some of your knowledge. And if you have comments, questions, concerns, he mentioned he was in the film school and what he's doing. If you have any questions or any interested, hit him up. We'll link his social media. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to talk to you or to give you some advice on if you want to go down that same path. But yes, any final words?
Give me advice.
or
give him advice. It works both ways.
any final words before we send off? So.
Oh yeah, but yeah, thank you guys. This has been awesome. I would love to do it again.
Oh, you will. Absolutely.
I'm all here for you guys. You guys are killing it. Keep up the hard work.
Appreciate it. He is also, we've mentioned it a ton. He's also one of our big, obviously Cincinnati. He's one of our big Bengals fans.
We'll have him back on.
So we will have him back on to talk more Bengals.
Yeah.
We didn't want to go down the rabbit hole of that today. We wanted to just kind of focus on what's going on right now. But yes, he is a huge Bengals fan. We will talk more about that because he could go on and on about the Bengals, I'm sure. But yes, no, again, thank you. And we appreciate it. Again, follow him. We'll have him all tagged if you have any questions or just want to follow him. You know, that's cool too. He's a pretty cool guy. You want to shoot him a follow. That I'm sure he'd appreciate that. But yes, thank you again so much, and we appreciate it.
Sir, take care, Austin.
Take care, brother.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so we appreciate Austin for coming on. That was some great conversation. Like we mentioned, he is also a huge Bengals fan, so we will have him on.
Oh, absolutely.
Later,
we've got some other Bengals fans as well.
We do, so it might be fun to have them all on and to try and stir the pot a little bit all together. That'd be fun. But yes, to wrap up today's episode, like we mentioned,
a little bit of NFL.
It wasn't a ton. It kind of just happened, and there's been some April Fool's crap floating around of all. But the real one, that not an April Fool's, they did change the overtime rule to both teams get the ball.
Oh my god!
About time.
So they
in regular season, they changed this for the playoffs, but now in the regular season, both teams get the ball.
Yeah, they're adopting the postseason overtime rules, but in my opinion, they still found a way to kind of mess it up a little bit because now it's a 10-minute quarter instead of 15, which.
I don't understand why they did that.
Yeah, because if both teams are getting the ball now, you're going to assume that there might be more time taken off the clock. So why would you shorten the clock?
It's basically to give each team the ball one time, basically to guarantee that.
Yeah,
but maybe not a second time or a third time.
So hold on. So we're
going to see a lot more ties, I bet.
So let me ask you a question though. Say Chiefs and the Bills. Chiefs score a touchdown. Bills are about to score a touchdown, and the time runs out. What happens?
Game over.
Is it game over?
And then the Bills are right back to it. Like,
this is bullshit.
Is the game over?
More time.
This should have gotten there should be no more ties after this, but clearly there will still be ties.
Well, this was a good rule into placing. Like there aren't going to be a tie. There isn't going to be a tie.
I wish they would have just gone the full yard and said no ties. We go until there's a winner.
Both teams get the ball.
After both teams score or after both teams have a possession. It's sudden death. Yeah. That is so easy. I don't understand what's complicated about that. No, we like the idea of a tie in football. That makes sense. That makes sense to us. Whatever.
To go on top of some of the other rules, The kickoff has now moved back from
35?
35 to 30, which they're probably assuming there's going to be more kick returns now if you move it back.
It was up a lot.
It was
last year. It was up a lot.
I think it will just make for more, exciting plays in this aspect, which I don't really mind. I mean, chances are the kickers are just going to go, okay, well, I'm just going to kick it 5 yards further. I can do that, no problem.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to result in more touchback. This is kind of whatever, move back 5 yards. Oh, well.
It is what it is.
The other one that is getting voted on. We're notorious for talking about this.
It got voted on it.
Yeah.
It got voted on today, and then it was tabled for another discussion in May, which when a discussion is tabled, it normally means that there was a very loud argument and people could not come to
People got really angry.
Yes, people could not come to common ground.
Yeah.
And so it went on long enough that
Can
the
you
mediator
guess what we're talking about?
finally went, all right, Jesus Christ.
We're moving it back.
Push it back. We got other shit to vote on.
Yeah.
My God. The tush push was voted on.
Ass blast.
The ass blast, the dumbest play in football, was voted on to be banned, and 16 of 24 votes. So half the league thinks it should be banned. And that's not enough.
There's big coaches like
Sean McDermott,
Sean
is
McVay
spearheading
came out and said that.
Did he really?
He came in an interview. He said, "Look, what he said is, I don't want to be that guy to get rid of something just because one team does it better than the others.
Yeah.
So don't mishear me when I say that. I'm not saying that." He said, though, it needs to get looked at for health reasons and the format and the systematic of the play of it. Look, he said it word for word, like a rugby play, and said to me,
one of the smartest coaches in football
I
is
swear
agreeing
to
with
God,
us?
if you don't believe me, look it up. Sean McVay, the head coach of the Rams, said it
Can you
out
add
of his
this
mouth.
video and can you put that?
We'll find the video.
I want to hear him say the word rugby because we've been saying that for God knows how long.
I'll clip it in right now.
About the tush push. There was a report of an animated conversation.
I saw that actually.
Involving you, Sean McDermott, and two guys from the Eagles, Howie Roseman, and the assistant GM, John Ferrari. So where do you stand on the tush push?
Here's what I would say. I don't, and I told these guys this, I don't believe in taking something out because they do it better than anybody else. And I told both John and Howie that when we were talking yesterday. What I don't like is the optics of that play. It looks like a rugby scrum. And there are some health and safety things, which those things exist in short yardage and goal line situations as well. So I'm kind of conflicted because you don't want to be a hater because they do it better than anybody else. So I don't agree with that. But I also wish we didn't let the play in the first place in regards to just the optics of what it looks like. Doesn't look like football to me. And John, those guys, they understood it, but obviously you know where they stand on that.
But on top of that, there was some that did get passed and was, the vote went through. Expanded replay assist, which I love this. This is so good. I didn't go as far as I would hope, but flags can now be reviewed and can be picked up. And so this is for flags pertaining to like roughing the passer, face masks, and similar penalties. So I would assume pass interference as well.
They tried that, though. Remember they got rid of it.
They did, but no, that was only pass interference.
That's what I mean.
Strictly pass interference. So now I don't know if I would assume this is way different from a coach's challenge. I don't know what constitutes a play being reviewable. Are they just going to remove review every single flag that is under that category?
Yeah.
And because that would take a long time.
Yeah, you never know.
I don't know. And it's like some of those reviews take minutes, like 5 minutes to come back, and then they still get it wrong. So we'll see how this ends up affecting the regular season. But
the last big one, this one's a pretty big one. And Bills fans are gonna be, or if you're not a Bills fan, you're gonna all the fingers are gonna be pointed at the Bills. Like, all the rules get changed for them. There is now first down markers electronically.
April Fools.
April Fools. Though.
Is that an April Fool's?
It is April Fools. So they actually...
That sucks. Why? They do it in tennis. Why can't they do it in football?
It's true that they're looking into it, but they're not going to implement it this year.
If they're going to do something about it...
Well, they can't because then... That messes
then it would
with
be
the
fair.
Script.
Then it would be fair.
Messes with the script and it'd be fair.
That was
that.
an April Fool's from the i75Live crew itself. We got Chris.
Sucked.
We had him first. He was getting happy over there.
But, so last little
You guys
thing,
are
because
assholes.
there was actually an update on this. And then one more thing, because we mentioned it last week. Micah Parsons, the Cowboys offered Micah Parsons a contract that would make him the highest paid non-QB. Numbers did not come out about it, but he is seeking a contract that's worth like $40 million more than what that contract is probably worth. He wants a deal worth $200 million. And like I said, Jamar Chase just signed a $160 million deal, which is the highest paid non-quarterback. Micah Parsons wants an entire $40 million per year on top of that.
Delusion.
What the hell? And not to say he's not worth it, but the Cowboys aren't going to pay that.
He's a great.
Well, wait a minute,
he's a
though.
great
Jerry
player.
Jones, he might.
They would have
mean,
to, if
he
they
gives out
want,
contracts
they would
he
have to
shouldn't.
cut Dak loose or find a way to void that contract because there is no way in
Who's
hell.
the team that said they were trying to trade for Dak? Was it
It was
Cleveland?
the Browns. It
Yeah.
was a.
Was
There's no
that-
way in hell that they could have done it. It was a kind of. I saw one of the media pages bring up how it's kind of the slow part of the year, and this is when people,
Making up shit.
rent is still due, even though the clicks are slow.
Yeah.
So hey, oh my God,
What can I think of today?
the Cleveland Browns?
It'd
Dak
be hilarious
Prescott.
if they did another Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott. Yeah. That'd be cool.
Oh,
That'd
that'd
work
be
out.
easy. But on top of that, something else that's a little bit more interesting is I think this was over the weekend or like yesterday. Aaron Rodgers released a video having a throwing session with DK Metcalf.
No. Tell me what you said about Pat McAfee.
I told you that.
No,
story.
this is Chris. So Pat McAfee is doing the Monday Night Raw stuff right now, and
London.
Guess,
That's right.
Yes,
London.
But when he comes back to the States,
when he comes
guess
back,
where his next show is?
His next live show.
His next live show
is
in
in
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. He's
In their
rented out the
football
stadium.
stadium. Guess who he has said is going to be a special guest?
Well, no. He didn't say
Attention!
that. But people are
attention!
saying it's
Introducing your newest Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, Mr. Aaron Rodgers, and he trots out with an American flag again. Doesn't tear his Achilles this time.
Do all the fans leave at that point? Do they leave the stadium and say this show fucking sucks?
Dude, I would be
Just
so-
all, well, no, I mean, it's just all about me. It's all about, look at me, the spotlight's on me. And now I'm throwing with DK Metcalf in California. Look at me, look at me. I had
Coming for you too, George Pickens.
like it's a meme at this point for me.
It's entertainment within entertainment. It's great.
Yeah.
It's so great, and I hope it never ends. I hope he signs with the Steelers right before week 1. That's my hope. But on top of that, their owner came out today and had a statement saying that he felt good about Aaron Rodgers coming to Pittsburgh. This is their owner, Art Rooney, and saying that he won't wait forever. But a little while longer is good.
Oh, yeah.
Those are his words, not mine.
Well, the Pat McAfee show, I think, is somewhere around the 7th or 8th of April. So it's not
That's
very
next
far away.
week. That is next week while we're going to be at a Braves game.
It's just funny. You just can't make this shit up sometimes. You just really can't. But yes, thank you guys again. That's going to wrap up today's episode.
Yep.
Thank you again to Austin
Yep.
Gunny, aka. We appreciate you. Like we kind of mentioned, we do get a lot of information from him. He's very, very smart at what he does, and he does care a lot about sports. If you have any questions, though, being so for real, go reach out to him. We'll link his social media. He is very, that program he said he's in, he's almost done with
program.
it. If you are interested in any of that stuff, he would be a good person to talk to. A good normal person that would probably respond to you and, answer your questions if you are interested in that type of stuff.
I mean, not all the prima donnas that never answer their DMs.
So yeah, he
Couldn't be bothered.
But yes, thank you again to him. We have a ton of other Bengals fans that live in that area who we are going to get on. He's really good friends with Vanny as well. That's kind of just our little
friend of the show.
our little group that we have. But yes, thank you again. Drop a follow, drop a like.
Yes.
The long version
Some
of this will be
comments.
on Spotify and YouTube. Short clips will be on the Instagram, TikTok, and all that good stuff. Enjoy Final Four. That's this, and you won't.
And the final.
You won't hear from us.
The championship.
We kind of
will have
forgot.
happened.
Not forgot. We kind of mentioned it, but yeah, the championship will already happen by the time
We kind
you
of
hear
talked
from
about
us
it.
again.
Houston is Houston and Duke. Really, I think honestly the winner of the tournament might be playing in the Houston Duke game. That's just my opinion.
It's going to be some good games, like we mentioned, like Gunny said.
Oh yeah.
But yes, enjoy that. Enjoy MLB. The season starts tonight. Don't forget.
Keep telling yourself that.
The Braves are
0-0.
0-5.
No, we're not.
We live in a
We're
reality
0-6.
right now.
You gave
We're
us
the
an extra game.
Oh, the Chicago White Sox.
We could be going into our home opener 0-8.
Just saying. We live in a.
That's something I didn't think I was going to say at the beginning.
We
of the
live
year.
in a reality right now where the Chicago White Sox
They scored.
have a better record.
Not even that.
And
They've
the
scored
Braves.
more runs in one game than we have in 6 fucking games. and we're the Atlanta Braves.
Go Sox, baby.
Your guys' win total is 42.5. Ours is 98. Make it fucking make sense. That's baseball for you.
That is
like
baseball
you keep telling me,
for you.
Dawson. It's a long
Baseball.
season. It's a long season. However, we look like shit right now at the plate.
Now
the balls we're swinging
now
at
hold on
are
though.
terrible.
Now, in my defense, we have faced some really, really good pitching to open up the season.
Oh yeah.
The Padres have really good pitching, and the Dodgers have really good pitching.
Yeah, and the Marlins have good pitching.
And the Phillies also have good pitching.
Are we looking at an 0-15 start from the Braves?
Don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't do that.
I'm just saying.
Don't do that.
I'm just saying.
Hey, just look at Michael Harris swinging and striking out last night, and that's a microcosm of our whole season. So
And Profar suspended for 80 games.
80 games.
Hey, that was a setup. The
That
Padres
sucks.
knew that was happening.
It's just not.
They set us up.
Look,
That's the most
you think-
ridiculous
look,
thing.
the season starts tonight.
Yeah.
We are 0-0. Okay? We're done. The slander's done. We're 0-0.
What do you
no.
think about that, Happy? Braves being 0-6.
Speaking of happy, that movie's coming out. I'm excited about that.
I got a bad
For all
feeling it's
quick,
gonna
I know we're going a little bit long, but the Marvel
This is the
Thunderbolts comes out next month. Looking forward to that. There's some good actors in that, and we also got a whole cast. Part of it, they're saying there could be way more, which I'm sure there will be.
Endgame.
Of
Not
Dooms.
Endgame.
Was it Doomsday?
Doomsday.
Yeah, Marvel Doomsday.
The first one.
A lot of big actors coming back to that of like the original
And that's
X-Men.
half the cast. That's half the cast.
Yeah, and they're saying that's
even-
just half. And you know, and Robert Downer Jr.'s back.
COVID must have been hard on them. They need some money.
Yeah, they really do.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
They've been
they need us
making
all to
woke-
come back,
yeah.
so that's why they're having to bring back.
They're
all
too
these
busy
big
murdering
stars.
Snow White.
Exactly.
So yes, I am looking forward to, and then also for all the Marvel fans out there, the Daredevil show has been great. I
Yeah,
know
I
you
still
haven't
need to
watched it
watch
yet
that.
because you're kind
I
of
still
waiting for
need
all the
to.
episodes to come out.
Yep.
It's been great, and I'm sure someone can attest to that. It's
yeah.
been a really, really good show.
I'll be checking it out.
Of even when the Punisher, and it's been a great show. I've been enjoying it. So
Hell
if you
yeah.
haven't checked it out and you liked, the first Daredevil, you liked those actors, I highly recommend it. It's only, I think the next episode, they come out every Tuesday. I think this is episode 7. 6 have come out.
Oh, there's 10?
I think there's 10. There's like 9 or 10. And then they've already started filming season 2. So there is going to be a season 2.
Okay.
But yeah, so all my Marvel fans, go check that out. There's a lot of great movies coming up. I also, on the train of movies, again, I know I keep on doing this. Lilo and Stitch looks really, really good. I know everyone's kind of giving Disney shit for the live action remakes.
We'll
the
see.
trailer for the new Lilo and Stitch looks really, really cool with the live action Stitch. I think they did a great job with him of how he kind of acted and like his voice that he did and the personality that he had in the original. I think they matched, at least in the trailer, it really shows that that's what they were focused on. So I'm excited for that movie.
I'll
as
go
well.
and check it out.
I would recommend watching that.
Okay.
But yes, again, episode what was it?
34.
34. Thank you again to Austin. Drop a follow, drop a like. If you have any questions, let us know, and we'll see you guys next time.
Sure. It's been real, guys.